What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. God, just another legend falls, man. It hurts my old soul that has grown up watching some of these amazing artists do their thing on film. It's not stopping. The Grim Reaper has been busy in the entertainment industry. The last couple of years, there's been some big ones, some huge ones, just in the last couple of weeks. But how's it going, everybody? We're here to we're gonna pay a little bit of respect to Chuck Norris today as we review one of his great films, Lone Wolf Mcquade. Here to do that with me is my head of life mate, Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Yeah, this hurts my old soul as well. Most of my teenage years and stuff, I always heard Chuck Norris jokes constantly. there was no shortage of that kind of thing, and lately I've been, of course, seeing a resurgence of that, and it just kind of makes my heart happy. And to go back and watch one of his classic films, because I mean that was the big question. I'm like, where do we even start? What would we even land on? And I mean, yeah, any one of them would have been awesome. Or if we had the time to do some Walker Texas Ranger, but yeah, I'm excited to talk some Chuck Norris. I'm sure we'll make plenty of jokes along the way because that's what we do here.
Of course, BJ with us as always. BJ, always good to have you around. We love you dearly, and of course, I mean the namesake, so to speak, in our chat, Stuart Mcquade. What's up, brother? Always good to see you. Yeah, I almost, it didn't occur to me until today. I was just I should have just reached out to Stuart and been like, hey, you want to join us for this one? I mean, it would kind of make sense. It didn't occur to me until today, though.
Damn.
There would have been a lovely symmetry to that. But, Jeremy, you're right. I mean, the news broke that Chuck Norris had passed away, and in the initial shock and everything, I was just like, we got to do something. I was like, do we do a review? What do we review? And I'm thinking of movies. And I grew up watching the Missing in Action movies, Delta Force, and all that stuff.
Force.
And I was like, what do you watch? I was like, one movie I haven't watched in a long time is Lone Wolf Mcquade. I don't think I've watched it since probably the mid '90s, if my memory's even right. But yeah, I was like, we need to do that because not just Chuck Norris this week with David Carradine, and we'll get to the cast in a minute, but I mean, just loaded with so many people that became huge stars all the way up into the 90s and even now. And Carradine himself, I was just reminding my son, he was in here watching the last few minutes of it with me, and I was like, this is the guy that was Bill and Kill Bill. He goes, I haven't seen those yet. And I was like, oh, well, guess what we're doing this weekend?
Well, let me sit you down, and we're going to watch some stuff,
Sit down, son. Let's order a pizza, kick back a few ice-cold soda pops, and we'll watch this. And yeah, Valerie Perrine died as well. The Miss Tessmacher in the original Superman films. She just passed away yesterday. The news broke, and we talked about Robert Duvall already, and it's just, man, the time is undefeated. You know what I mean? Nobody lives forever. I'm just very glad that we had the work of Chuck Norris, Valerie Perrine, and Robert Duvall. We've talked about it's unfortunate that life has to end, but some people leave this indelible mark on celluloid. Thank God. That's one of the great things about movies is I can go back and I never got a chance to witness Judy Garland in her prime, but I can go back and watch some of these movies from the the 40s and the 50s and watch her with other actors doing her thing, and I can get ideas to I at least get exposed to the great talent that these people had. And this is no different. That's why I say all the time when one of these people dies, man, you gotta take a minute to go back and watch their collected works. Expose yourself to this genius because a long time ago, you didn't have special effects to rely on. I mean, this movie had some explosions and stuff, but they were all practical effects. We talk about this all the time. And they had to have the balance of style and substance. There was great acting, great dialogue. It's something that we kind of lost track of late 80s and most of the 90s was a lot of substance and a lot of style and no substance. And I think that's why that period has a lot less movies that kind of run the test of time. But I mean, this one, it's just good. It reminded me of one of the old Cannon films, like American Ninja or something like that. It's just it's got good story, good characters, good action. I was like, holy shit, this movie is pretty well put together. You can't really knock a lot of it. But obviously, we are here to talk about, as I pull it up again, boy, I'm not on the stuff I need to be on. We're talking about Lone Wolf Mcquade. It is the 1983 American neo-Western action film directed by Steve Carver and starring Chuck Norris, David Carradine, Barbara Carrera, L.Q. Jones, R.G. Armstrong, Leon Isaac Kennedy, and Robert Beltran, who became famous in Star Trek. The film was a modest financial success, making about $15 million against a budget of about $5 million. That was a lot of money for 1983. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Sun-Times, of Siskel and Ebert, gave the film 2.5 stars out of 4 and wrote, "The rhythm is here in 7 minutes of action, followed by a minute of dialogue, followed by another 7 minutes of action. For a while, I was laughing at all the explosions. Eventually, though, all of the noise became annoying." I disagree with his take on it, but I still like Gene Siskel. As of July 2024, the film has a score of 57% on Rotten Tomatoes based on just 7 reviews, which is really weird. I figured a lot of cinephiles would be going through some of the historical films like this, would be going back more and trying to put some marks on there. I'm gonna have to go on Rotten Tomato and put a review up there. Not that I'm one of the people I listen to or anything, but I don't know. Jay, we've exposed ourselves to this movie freshly in the last 24 hours or so. Give me your quick thoughts on Lone Wolf Mcquade.
I think when I saw the description of it too, it's like, you've got like part Western, kind of part martial arts, and then just a whole bunch of 80s action. I'm like, yeah, I mean, what else do you really want, right, in a movie? Especially with, your 2 big leads there, like with Chuck Norris and David Carradine. It's a fun, just kind of 80s action movie that, you'd expect. There's some twists and turns that I'm like, I hate that. I'm like, I've seen a movie before. I'm like, oh yeah, that person's definitely gonna bite the dust, or this is gonna, I've seen the tropes. And it was in no way to lessen the legacy of Chuck Norris, but I was kind of like, I've seen like a few Chuck Norris movies. I'm like, I've kind of seen most of them, but I don't say that in any sort of negative connotation. I'm just like, yeah, but the point is, my overall point is that I'm like, but it's still fun. Like, I don't care that he shot 3 bullets into a car and it fucking exploded. I'm like, I don't care. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just fun. I kind of laugh now. I just kind of giggle because I'm like, again, in a positive way, because it's just so much fun. Because again, as I've said before, and the more I drag my wife down this rabbit hole, and she has often said, like, yeah, we used to have fun. Like, movies used to just be fun. We just didn't really care. And like you said, put the popcorn in your mouth, drink your sodas, just have a good time. And that's kind of what this movie is. And that's what it does for you. So, yeah. You won't regret having watched, an hour and a half of, Chuck Norris kicking ass in any fashion that he ever did. I'm looking at you, though, Bruce Lee. That's a whole different story. We got to talk about it. That's one. All right, I'll start with one. That's one of them. He didn't... He went to heaven because he wanted a rematch with Bruce Lee. Let's be honest. That's why.
And one of these days, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and God willing, not too soon, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are going to be all up there. They're going to be throwing hands in a 3-on-all, cage match, and we're all going to be the better for it when we all get there. But it's. I was trying to remember that also has one of the great ending lines in all the movies where she just kind of looks at him and goes, "Oh hell," and that's the end of the movie. When she's mad at him for just being who he is for a moment, then she realizes this is what makes the character the person who he is. And for years I have tried to rack my brain. I was like, I remember that line. Where was it? And as I was watching the movie again today, I was just like, holy shit, that's where it's from. Where his ex-wife just looks at him and goes, "Ah hell, this is who he is." But you can call it kind of like typical Chuck Norris, sure. But if you're a fan of the late 70s and into the 80s martial arts stuff, like Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and a couple other actors that were big, God, this movie really is right up there near one of the best. Like I said, David Carradine was the perfect person to put him across from. He himself, the martial arts background, having been in Kung Fu in the 70s, that legendary TV show. And then eventually doing stuff like Kill Bill. It was a perfectly cast film with it had some of the 80s. It had a lot of the 80s tropes that we can still enjoy. It's like I kind of giggled and I was like, one grenade blew up a whole house, like Mushroom Cloud and all. But okay, whatever. That's not how grenades work. Sure. I think Mythbusters disproved that about 27 times over the course of their time on TV. But but I was just like, yeah, it's kind of. It's classic. It's one of the things that made the 80s a great action movie decade. I mean, say what you will about any decade of movie. Action movies were at their peak in the 80s.
Absolutely,
there was. I mean, for one, it was, practical effects. For two, you had personas, not actors or people, personas like Chuck Norris. You had Chuck Norris, you had Sylvester Stallone, you had Arnie. You had lots of other guys, a lot of actors that maybe aren't as well known today. But I mean, if you went and watched the movie, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy was big in the 80s. There was all kinds of people all kinds of just personas that were out there that every man wanted to be and all the women wanted to be with. They used to say it is full of people like that. Chuck
Tom
Norris
Selleck
was
and Burt Reynolds.
Yes, exactly. Harrison Ford, even with the Indiana Jones and all that. It's just so many great personas, so many great like auras around these actiony stars. It's like there's a picture over here somewhere. I don't know if I put it in here or not, but he's got like the whole chest shirt open and then the chest.
There were so many of those, and I'm like, I feel like that's just contractually obligated because like there was one specific one that I tried to get, and it was
no shirt on. We just got to have the chest hair and the muscles and the gun. And as long as we get that in the shot, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
but it's just there's a handful of movies like this that even as we watch modern movies, we're just kind of like, hey, this movie holds up. This movie is one that would stack up against anything that Tom Cruise is doing today, or that insert action star is doing today. I mean, you couldn't put The Rock in this movie and have it likable. There's something about Chuck Norris and, like I said, David Carradine, these two personas up there that are different, because you could have put bigger guys in this movie. I mean, Arnold was doing this thing around then. I mean, this was the year before Terminator came out or something like that. So you could have had somebody like Arnie.
84 was Terminator.
You could have had somebody like Arnie or something like that. You could have had Sly. Sly was already a big name. He already done a couple of Rocky movies at this point. But you can't. This is one of those movies that has the right people. Maybe not the best, the right people to make everything come together the way it needs to. But let's talk for a minute about the director just for a moment, Steve Carver. I was sitting here going over some of his other work, and I have literally seen one other movie that he has ever done. He was kind of a B movie god for a long time. He kind of like ended in the late 90s. That's where his filmography kind of ends. But he worked with Chuck Norris before in Eye for an Eye in 1981, a couple years before this. The only other movie of his that I've seen is Bulletproof from 1988, which I'm pretty sure I saw. Cannot remember when. Haven't watched it since. I know he did a movie with Michael Dudikoff from the American Ninja series I heard of but never saw. And a bunch of stuff that he was either the director. He was actually the, assistant director. He did his first was a short movie about the Telltale Heart, the great Edgar Allan Poe story. But I cannot think of anything else this guy has done that I have ever heard of. I mean, he did a little bit of TV stuff. He's worked with good people. He's worked with Jennifer Jason Leigh. Obviously Chuck Norris a couple of times. He worked with let's see, who was on here? Bulletproof. He worked with LQ Jones again, this old guy that we were talking about earlier. Gary Busey. He did this movie in the late 90s called River of Death. Michael Dudikoff. Again, B movies were his thing, and that's not a bad way to go. What do you think about the work that Steve Carver did with this particular film?
I'm glad you asked me that, because I'm looking through it too, and I realized I forgot to look it up, and I was like, I don't know any of these. I will admit I don't know any of these movies. I mean, of course, except for really this one. But with this one, there is kind of that charm to it too. It's like we said, that his happy place is kind of in B movies. I'm like, right, but there is this weird charm about these B movies that still make them fun. It's that vibe I was talking about earlier, where I'm like, yeah, you just kind of sit back and let the stuff happen, and just enjoy the ride. It's like there have been B movies that like either they're really clever or like they're really fun, they make sense, and there are some that just don't make any damn sense at all. So I mean, really, it's like it's kind of a mismatch. It can be a fun rabbit hole to go down sometimes, but yeah, with this movie, it's you got not I don't want to say cartoony, but it's like you got good guy, bad guy. Bad guy doing bad stuff. Good guy comes in, kicks his ass, saves the day. Hurrah. We all go home. Well, most everybody went home. A lot of people died in this movie. Surprisingly. To be fair, a lot of them died in this movie. I mean, I think my wife even pointed out, like, when they go to, like, assault the, like, construction site or camp, whatever the hell they had going on. She's like,
maybe you should have brought more guys other than just, like the 5 of you. I'm like, well, hold on. Chuck Norris counts for like 50 guys.
Yeah.
At least. Come on. They might stand a chance. So, yeah, no, like I said, it's a fun movie. And like I said, you won't be disappointed watching it. So it kept its pace going. It wasn't like,
I'm not trying to say it in a bad way where I'm like, it doesn't like take a lot of brain power. Like I said,
shoot things, they explode, a lot of roundhouses.
Well, that's what these movies were. It's like, again, it's a lot of it was style over substance. Again, we run the risk and sometimes make the mistake of watching older movies through the modern lens. We're so used to seeing deep stuff like Oppenheimer and so on, and then we go back and watch something like this, and we're like, God, it's so cheese and so. But these movies made $1 bajillion in 1983 for a reason, because they were awesome. They were part of the cultural zeitgeist that as it existed back then. So yeah, we watch it now and we're kind of like, a little bit of cheese, but but back then this was like one of the biggest fucking things that happened all year in entertainment. I thought he did a great job. It doesn't hurt to have Chuck Norris and David Carradine, who are already at this point in their careers pretty damn good at what they do. Right. And not only that, but they act off of each other very well. I've noticed in this movie, especially the final fight. I mean, that's one of the great final fights. I had forgotten exactly how good that fight was because it had been so long since I'd seen the movie. But yeah, it is one of the great final fights in all of the martial arts movies that I've seen, especially Chuck Norris movies. But he did a good job of just putting these guys in front of a camera and saying, okay, this is what the characters are doing. Now go do what you guys do. And he seemed to get the best out of all the scenes. Because even when I go back and watch some of these late 70s, early 80s films, and I'm like, could have tightened up some editing here, could have done this a little differently here. Good movie overall, but you could have streamlined it here. I didn't really get a lot of that out of here. There was a couple of scenes where I was kind of like, you're kind of going for cheese here, but it was a lot less than a lot of movies of the era. I feel like Steve Carver did a really good job of keeping the pace and keeping kind of everybody where they needed to be in the movie. I wasn't as annoyed by the daughter in this as I would be in most movies like this, because sometimes the Mary Sue characters just get in the way, the damsel in distress. Sometimes they just kind of get in the way. She wasn't really in the way in this movie. She's not even really in a lot of this movie. She's only really in the parts that are important for her to be in. So she's not like all over this movie. You understand that she's the motivation for everything Chuck Norris does in the final act, but she's not overexposed in this, which is a smart directorial move. I thought it was very, very good how he handled this movie. Excuse me. I'm going to have to go back and watch Eye for an Eye now, because I'm kind of curious as to what him and Chuck Norris did. Although Chuck Norris did that movie with Christopher Lee and Richard Roundtree, so there's a couple other actors in there that probably aren't that bad. It's a 1981 American crime action film directed by Steve Carver. I may have to go back and find that one, because that's got a couple actors in it. I wouldn't mind seeing them on screen with old Lone Wolf Mcquade. But yeah, I thought he did a very good job not making this movie kind of stupid. It would have been really easy to just be like, okay, Chuck Norris, go in there and start kicking people, and that's going to be an hour and 45 minutes of what we do, and that probably would have sold pretty well. But it wouldn't have been a good movie, because there were some movies like that in the martial arts genre, especially in the late 70s. They're just like, okay, everybody fight, and then it's like 20 minutes of fight, and then it's like 5 minutes of blah, 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 shit that I don't care about. And then, okay, everybody fight again for 15 minutes. And I'm just like, okay, it's great, but what do I want to watch this? I want to watch a film. I want to watch story. And they actually gave this a decent story while being a cool action set piece, which was really cool. And explosions. So there was good story and explosions. So you've already got 2 of the 3 things you need to make this movie good. But moving on, let's talk cast. I mean, it's like who's your favorite and why? It's one of these 2. But I mean, Jeremy, obviously the cast of the film I think overall is very good. What do you think of the cast, and who stood out to you the most that wasn't named, Chuck Norris?
Look, I think I can just I don't think anybody would fault me for taking the obvious answer that it's Chuck Norris.
Oh, nobody would.
Obviously. Yeah. I mean, even if I said David Carradine, again, like you got somebody, I mean, I would say it's almost like we talked about, like there being a little bit of cheese where I see this guy and I'm like, yeah, he just like emanates like I'm the bad guy. Like he's sitting there smoking his little fucking cigarette most of the time, just mean mugging everybody. But he did have like that threat of danger to him, right? That's, you know, and then when you're going to be opposite, no, literally like this, opposite somebody like Chuck Norris. Yeah, they work well together on screen as a yin and yang to one another. Yeah. To be fair, Lola, I don't remember the actress's name. For her
Carradine, or not Carradine, Carrera, Barbara Carrera.
I was like, I don't think he's got locks like that, man.
No.
Not dogging on you, man. I'm just saying.
I was looking at the screen. That's why I was thinking Carradine.
He's like, oh yeah, that guy, Carradine. No, yeah, even like Lola for the part she played, kind of being the, not in between, but like she's kind of the love interest, like somebody that, and like that's what we're saying. Like it's not just Chuck Norris being stoic and just roundhouse kicking everybody in the mouth. Like she did have that, like, you know, the thing that kind of brought him, you know, brought that other side out of him, like to his senses, like that conversation to have when like she storms out and he goes out to like apologize to her. He's like, hey, look, like, I'm sorry, I'm rough around the edges, right? Like, you know, she's like, yeah, you could use some improvement. He's like, yeah, you're right. So kind of brings him out of his shell. And also, I mean, the kid who played Ramos, his little younger partner, sidekick dude, kind of the same thing. It's like it's got that 80s trope of like, yeah, he's Chuck Norris is the older, kind of grizzled veteran guy, just likes to be on his own. And then then you got the younger kid Ramos who comes in, who's like, you know, like every other 70s 80s cop show, like, hey, here's your new partner. It's this young kid, now you got to babysit, basically. But you know, he warms up to him, which is cool. Like, and you kind of realize he's like, yeah, I can't do everything by myself. Like he had that wicked ass like 1983 computer that he was sitting there just typing away at, like, I got it. I'm like, okay, that was easy, wasn't it?
Like,
he's like,
tell me this was pre-internet before, without telling me this was pre-internet.
Right. I mean, he's Chuck Norris. He's like, yeah, well, when you figure it out, kid, let me know. Walks away, and like 3 seconds later, he's like, I got it. He's just like, well, all right then, like, yeah, let's go. You know, so yeah, like they all play their parts, but obviously, like I said, I'd have to obviously go with Chuck Norris. Actually, I do. Where's the picture? Hold on. I got. Obviously, this is the best character in the movie. I forgot the actual.
Oh
wolf.
Man, they John Wicked him. John Wick hadn't come out at this point, so we can't fault him for not knowing what happens when you kill the main protagonist's dog.
You know damn well what happens when you kill the protagonist's dog, especially when that protagonist is Chuck Norris. I'm like, man, you like attacked, you killed
the daughter's boyfriend, you attacked the daughter, you like got his best friend killed, you attacked his young partner,
and you killed his goddamn dog. You had every bit of this coming, David Carradine. I'm just saying, man.
I mean, come on, like
the actual wolf, look at him, this big toothy smile.
He's obviously, you know, the best character, the goodest character.
He's the heart. He's the heart of the film right there. Just like John Wick's dog was the heart of the first film. He's the heart. Yes, man's best friend. Man's best friend is one thing. Man's best friend is one thing. When you're a ranger's best friend, you have a certain loyalty there that if you fuck with that dog, it's all over. But I can't knock any of the cast in this movie. And Stuart came in and reminded me as I was getting it wrong. Barbara Carrera, and she did do Never Say Never Again immediately after doing this movie. So she was a Bond girl, which you can't knock any Bond.
Nice.
Can't knock any Bond girls. There's a long history of beautiful women in those movies. But I mean, obviously Norris and Carradine carry the film. I memean, those two are just next level. They're great. So I'll gush for a moment about some other people. What was the one picture? You just had it a second ago. Was this it? No, that's not it. It's a good picture of him though. Let's see. There he is. LQ Jones, guy who's been. I've been watching a lot of like Chips and some old stuff here and there lately. Just kind of with my comfort shows. I've seen him in episodes of Chips. He was actually in the movie Casino with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. He played a role in that movie. He ended up playing the character that brings down the whole thing at the end of the movie, just kind of accidentally, because Robert De Niro didn't know who he was firing. Apparently, he wasn't paying attention to that small detail. But yeah, he's a guy that I saw in so many things in the 70s and 80s, and just a fantastic character actor who plays that identical look right there in almost everything I've ever seen him in. I don't know why.
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Works so well. It's like he so melds into that character. Another one I thought was really funny. I watch a lot of Night Court because Night Court's one of my favorite TV shows. It is a comfort show of mine. And what happened to the one of the little guy? I know you showed it to me a minute ago. Where'd it go? There it is, right there. Al Cohn, the guy in the wheelchair. He was on several episodes of the original run of Night Court as a district attorney. He played Dan Fielding's boss, and there was a lot of comedy to be made of that. And so when I saw him pop up there, I was like, "Oh, that's dope as fuck." He's actually still alive. He got into real estate when he got done with acting. I looked it up a long time ago because I'm curious.
That's cool.
But I want to point out, there was one other person in this movie. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's the bald guy down there at the bottom. I don't know if you knew this or not.
Are you gonna say what I noticed at the credits of the movie?
If you watched the credits and saw the list of stuntmen,
I noticed a particular familiar name. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take the banner down so you get a better look. And it may or may not be him now that I'm looking closer at it. But yes, Kane Hodder is in this film. He was credited not only as a stunt performer, but also as one of the bullies. So I looked around for a picture of him. I couldn't find one of him in this movie, so maybe he just didn't get a significant face shot. Whatever, it happens. But yes, Kane Hodder is in this movie as well. That should make
Jason Voorhees.
Yes, that should make Tex happy.
I actually stopped it and rewound it a little bit. I was like, wait, whoa. Did I just see a name that I'm very familiar with? And I didn't realize what it was under. Yeah, I saw his name, and I went back. I'm like, stunt people. I'm like, oh no, it's got to be. This is that time. He's definitely a stunt guy, and I rewound it. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be him. I looked up IMDb, and then sure as hell, there's his face. This is as one of the goons, uncredited. I'm like, well, as a character, yes, uncredited, but you were in there, and then there's a stunt person. And I mean, if you're gonna get anybody, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll channel my inner Tex and be like, if you've got Kane Hodder in the credits of your movie, you've already got 2 out of 5 stars secured. Now you just got to make the movie entertaining. You're probably going to get at least 3 or 4 stars on Tex. But yes, Tex. So it's got most of what Tex wants. It's got Kane Hodder. It's got a legendary horror icon. It's got a lot of explosions and death and murder, but it's not the bloody kind that he likes to see. But I mean, it's there, just not enough nudity. So he'd probably subtract. He'd probably give this a 4 out of 5 stars at best for no nudity. But anyway, there's Tex's quick. I'm channeling Tex and giving you what I'm sure he would say about this movie. But yeah, the cast is fantastic. Again, Norris and Carradine. I didn't know how much more I wanted these two together until I was watching this movie again. I was like, God, we really missed out not having these be the two main bad guys that were in 4 or 5 movies. Not necessarily a franchise, but just have them be the bad guys in the final fight movies through the 80s and early 90s. That would have been phenomenal. Let's get to the plot now. And again, a pretty good plot for an early 80s. I don't want to call it cookie cutter, but the kind of stuff that we had gotten a lot out of. There was a lot of weird inspirations to this, though, as we'll go into. What do you think of the plot, Jeremy? Did it work for you, or is there anything you'd have changed?
Yeah, and I would hate to say the phrase cookie cutter as well, because I'm like, yeah, but it's a platform that works. There's a reason why, like we've said so many times, there's a reason why there's so many of these kinds of movies. Is it works. You get, especially when you get the kind of actors that we've just been sitting here gushing over, some magic will happen. You get, Chuck Norris as a veteran Texas Ranger, kind of just does his own thing by his own rules. And I wish I had a picture of him. The guy who I'm assuming was the police chief or whatever. I was like, wait, I've seen you before. It's something I saw recently. I'm like, that's right. There's another guy I watched who does B movies and just ridiculous stuff. It's how I found The Room with Tommy Wiseau, stuff like that. He was the chief was in a movie called The Car, which is like Christine before Christine was a thing. And I'm like, oh my God, that's right. He's the guy who heckles the fucking hitchhiker who's got a French horn for some goddamn reason. He's like, that was you blowing that bugle this morning. He's like, no, sir, this is a French horn. Like,
that's a goofy movie. Go watch it somewhere. I think it was on something. If not, it's a few bucks. But I'm reeling it back. But and then of course he gets this young kid, this kind of new recruit laid on him. Of course he's reluctant. That's where you get that amazing one of many shirtless Chuck Norris scenes where he's just got the gun to his nose. Like, the hell you do? I mean, to be fair, you just break into Chuck Norris's house. I mean, what the hell do you think was going to happen? That's exactly what was going to happen to you, dude. Like, you shouldn't be surprised. And he's just trying to do it. I mean, even the chief tells him, like, just stick with it, kid. And he's kind of like, okay. Like, I mean, this happens the next morning. You know, exactly a warm welcome visit. But yeah, and then it's David Carradine being a bad guy, taking a whole bunch of guns I think they were taking guns from us and giving them to like terrorist organizations all through like Central America, Mexico, shit like that. So then it starts getting personal, like I said, like when his daughter, Chuck Norris's daughter's attacked, the Dakota, that was his name, his buddy's name. When Chuck kind of goes off the rails and does his own thing by trying to find out the answers for himself, obviously when the feds get involved, and he kind of relieves him of his duty, and he's kind of like, well, I'll do my own thing, then I'll do it myself. Yeah, and like I said, then he loses not only his prime suspect and his buddy, and then his dog, and it's like, all right,
well, that's enough. I'm gonna go kick this guy's ass. Like, it's
and then they kidnap his daughter on top of fucking everything, right?
Yeah, not a good move. You already killed his dog. You're already gonna die. Yeah, it's like it's like how much you're shooting the moon here as far as bad things that are gonna happen to you.
Yeah, you're gonna kidnap his daughter. Well, like, and in that scene, I'm like, man, and you killed his woman. Like, and I will say his woman, goddamn it, because go away,
David Carradine.
She didn't. She went to him. Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Plot works for me. Like I said, it's a movie that I can sit down,
even though I've seen this movie before, you know,
in other forms. I still have fun with it. Like I got here probably 5 minutes before we went live because we were watching They Live, because her friend hadn't seen it, and she was talking about this thing with like this AI surveillance like camera thing that's going around right now, and there's people that are trying to like, you know, stop it. And ironically, the CEO is pissed off about like them, you know, why are you hacking our stuff and watching people's like, is that what you're doing? Like, what the fuck? So they had this conversation. They were hanging out, and then first thing said to me when I came in the door, like, "Hey, do you want to explain the plot of They Live to her?" I'm like, "You could just watch it. I have it right here." Like, it's not that long. I'm like, we can squeeze it in. Trust me. I'm like, if you think, she showed me the video, I'm like, you think that shit's crazy? This is gonna blow your mind, because they were trying to tell us this shit like 40 years ago. So,
yeah, I was just watching this short documentary about the Unabomber. They're like, all the stuff in his manifesto starting to come around. Starting
to get a little scary.
Maybe his approach wasn't quite there, but everything he saw coming, we're kind of one by one. We're just checking that list off. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't change anything about this plot. I mean, look, drug dealing and drug running and gun running across the border has always been a thing for as long as I've been alive, at least. Probably much farther back than that than anybody realizes. So yeah, it was something that was a modern issue back then, and modern issue now in many ways. So you take that thing that's a real life problem and you build the world around it, and you have shit happen. That's how you make a movie, and it worked out great because you had great actors, you had really good writing, you had, again, a director who, I think, if this is the one thing that he can hang his hat on for his entire career, the director has passed away since then. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. He actually died actually in 2001 at the age of 75. But I mean, the plot I thought was really good. It's a modern problem. You put Clint Eastwood out there to solve the modern problem. That's kind of the base formula of every action movie. So it's like, so now, tech and everything is considered is what's in there. So eventually we're going to have movies, if we haven't already in many ways, Terminator one of them being, where human beings to fight.
We've had these movies.
We see it coming. We've made movies about it, damn it. So we should know this is coming. Yes, and Stuart is saying the car with James Brolin. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. I am so glad you know what I'm talking about.
I think I showed the clip to my wife. The ridiculous fucking sorry, spoilers. The car kills somebody. But like when the woman's on the phone, she just like turns and she gives out a fucking phenomenal scream as this car just right through her fucking like house and just kills her. I'm like, what is this movie? It's ridiculous. Oh yeah. Yeah, the one with Josh Brolin. It's a fun watch. It came out actually the same year as Star Wars, which is weird to think about. So sentient car killing people and lightsabers.
Another movie we came out that year? You sure?
yeah, a little indie Star Wars sci-fi film, and yeah, it'll never get big. Yeah, you know what? If you want a side recommend, I would recommend The Car. Like, go find it. There is like a sequel or a remake or some shit that came out actually like 2011 or something. I have not seen that, but I wouldn't want to ruin the magic of that. It's good, like just goofy 70s B movie shit like we've just kind of been talking about. It's just fun, It's pre-Christine. Jesus, it's hard to say. Yes, I see you, Stuart. I got you know what I'm talking about. That's somebody does.
Yeah, he's one of us. He's a film guy. I saw this whole.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get full marks from me because I'm like you know exactly what deep cut I'm going for. Yeah,
but I can't knock the plot of this film at all. I think it was pretty well done. Again, it was a modern thing, a modern problem. Put Chuck Norris and David Carradine in there and make David Carradine the bad guy. There's no way that can go wrong. But it actually was good story too. As I was watching this again, I actually watched the first half yesterday and I was falling asleep, so I watched the second half when I got home today. I hate watching movies broken up like that, but I didn't have a choice. I was falling asleep. But it really is a movie that has got good story to it because a lot of the actiony stuff of the 80s, like I said, explosions, one-liners, guy gets the girl at the end, movie ends, and everybody leaves happy, which is fine. But this had a really good story. It had characters that I got behind, especially the young rookie cop. He wasn't such an annoying character like they did a lot back in the 80s. He was actually somebody who had a purpose. The Agent Jackson, who is in the movie, and that's about all we can say for him. He wildly underused. Should have been so much more. Doesn't even come in till like halfway through the second act, but wildly underused. I mean, he was there for the big final showdown anyway. He was one of the three guys. You put it right there. The three amigos actually that raided the place. I called it, the three amigos. And he ends up surviving because, as far as I know, he flies away in the helicopter at the end. So. Yeah, everybody, good guys win, bad guys lose, die in a horrible, laden way, and good guy gets the girl in the end, but he doesn't get the girl in the end, but he saves his daughter. So it works out pretty well. But let's get into there is a small topic about this that I thought was pretty interesting. I was reading this movie, actually, rather than the TV show that Norris ended up doing that made him almost as famous, the Walker, Texas Ranger. A lot of people, he actually said that Walker, Texas Ranger was kind of inspired in a large part by this movie, which I didn't watch a lot of Walker, Texas Ranger. I've watched a few episodes here and there. It wasn't really a show that I watched a lot of. I might go back and try watching it from start to finish now. But there was a lot of similarities that I saw between the movie and the TV show. It actually led to a lawsuit, if you can believe that, because I forget. Let me see if I can find it in here real quick.
I kind of wondered if this movie and Walker, Texas Ranger had like some kind of kinship or something. I wondered about that.
There was something in the trivia about it. I don't think I put it in our trivia that I was going to use. Yes, Chuck Norris subsequently starred in Walker, Texas Ranger, which premiered in 1993, and the producers of this movie sued CBS, which not only aired the series but took over for Canon in producing it in mid-1993 after Canon's bankruptcy. Canon Pictures, a story in and of itself. Go watch Electric Boogaloo, the documentary about Canon Pictures and all that. It's amazing. Actually ended up suing Canon's bankruptcy for copyright infringement. CBS was later on issued a retroactive license by Orion. Both the Canon and Orion libraries are now owned by MGM, but the television rights to most of the former library are currently held by Paramount, a sister company to CBS from 2000 to 2005, and again since 2019. In 2005, the telefilm sequel to Walker, Texas Ranger was produced by Paramount's television division, which had absorbed CBS Productions a year earlier, and the production's logo continued to be used prior to the 06-07 TV seasons on shows it was already producing. But this is where rights get really fucked up on TV shows, and I can't remember any of it. So yes, there it has been said that one kind of influenced the other. Of course it did. If you've ever seen both these things, you know. And it actually led to a lawsuit. So let me get your thoughts, Jeremy. Was Walker the Mcquade, or was Walker the Mcquade ripoff, or was it just inspired? I mean, just knowing what you know about it, what do you think of that?
I don't know. Because I mean, these are about what 10. This was 83, right? So about 10 years, removed. And I'm not saying like he plays this kind of the same dude all the time, but I'm like, I don't know, why can't you just make it kind of interesting that it's like, hey, it's probably the same guy. I mean, we've always said that about James Bond. James Bond is not a person per se; it's just a code name, a persona that's been handed down through all these different agents throughout all this time, which kind of, in a weird way, makes it like it has been this one long lineage of just, kind of the same guy. I don't know. I mean, I know we say shared universes are kind of annoying because they're everywhere, but I think it'd be kind of cool. Like, you can make little winks and nods back to it. Like, yeah, hey, remember when I was a Texas Ranger in that movie? Texas Ranger. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't get into the weeds of like legal stuff like that because, like you said, it'll just make your brain melt. I don't know.
It's hard to wrap your mind around under benign circumstances, but when you factor in that, especially some of these older products that came out, especially stuff from like the 70s and the 80s, before anybody even knew could conceive what streaming would be, it's like they streaming rights became a thing, and it was like, who owns the streaming rights now that they exist? So if you go back to like the 70s and find a TV show or a movie from there, who owns the streaming rights? Well, anybody who owns a piece of the rights is going to argue about it because they want their money. They want to make sure that if Netflix cuts them $100 million check for the ability to air their movie for a certain amount of time, that it goes to them and not anybody else. So I, under benign circumstances, I can't wrap my head around that shit. It's just so insane. A little bit of further reading on this, though. Norris credits this film as a leading inspiration for his hit TV series Walker, Texas Ranger, which premiered a decade later. Yet the pilot had to be rewritten and the characters' names changed since all things Mcquade were copyrighted by Orion Pictures. The original producer of the series was the Cannon Group, which, like Orion, was now absorbed into MGM, though the Cannon films are distributed on television by a different company. Again, crazy rights. Carver and his production partner Yoram Ben Ami sued the producers of Walker, Texas Ranger for $500 million. Carver talked about the lawsuit in an interview in 2000. MGM and CBS, this is his quote: "MGM and CBS had bigger and better and more lawyers than we did, all the way to the Supreme Court. We failed to convince the Supreme Court that there were similarities. Now you and I and anybody else knows there are similarities between Lone Wolf McQuade and Walker, Texas Ranger." He added that the lawsuit was the reason Chuck Norris and he parted ways. So that's kind of a bummer. But I mean, I don't know. It's obviously one inspired the other. If you've seen this, now obviously Walker is a watered down version as far as violence of
TV. So
AJ McQuade. Yes, you can't have so much death on TV, but. I mean, look, it's not unusual that an actor, especially from that era, from the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, they go to TV and they play a similar character to one that made them famous in movies. It's not unheard of. It didn't happen a whole lot back then. It happens more now. But, I mean, whatever. I'm sure that they probably owed the director. They probably owed Stephen Carver a couple of bucks for his trouble, but $500 million is a bit much. I think that's probably a bigger reason why he lost it, rather than asking for $500 million and going to the Supreme Court. If he'd have asked for like $10 million, they'd probably have been like, "Here, we'll settle for $5 million. Go away," and he'd have walked away with $5 million. But instead, he gets nothing. But whatever. But yeah, obviously there was some similarities. I mean, even Norris said one was inspired by the other. Now, inspired by is a weird term. You can say inspired by and not be a direct copy. You can say inspired by is a direct copy. But one of the line that I think is funny in here is that it says, the pilot had to be rewritten and all the characters' names changed. Well, why would you do that if you weren't trying to use the Mcquade character? So it says, since all things Mcquade were copyrighted by Orion Pictures. So I mean, it looks like you were trying to make a Lone Wolf Mcquade TV show, but because you were worried about the rights, you were like, yeah, let's change his name to Walker and just give him the same job, and maybe nobody will notice. But yeah, somebody noticed.
Right.
But, yeah, someone noticed.
A lot like that same guy from that movie. That's weird.
He's like, wait a minute. Chuck Norris behind a Texas Rangers badge. Where have I seen that before? But whatever. It all worked out in the end. Let's see. Time to go on some trivia now. And I found I didn't find as much as I thought I would find for a movie this old, but I did find enough, and there was some pretty good stuff in here. We'll get down to it now. When asked to, let's see, I'll go to, obviously the big fight's going to dominate a lot of this. When asked to comment on David Carradine's actual martial arts skills, Chuck Norris opined, saying, quote, David Carradine is every bit as good a martial artist as I am an actor. I don't know. I don't know what he was trying to say there. Was that a shot, or was he actually trying to give him credit? But,
shade?
I mean, because I thought Norris was a pretty good actor. I mean, martial arts aside, he was as good as anybody else of the era. So can't knock him. But I mean, I don't know what he was saying there.
I did when I was actually looking up. I think when I was trying to Google about did Chuck Norris really die? And pulled him up, and it said fun factoid here. One of the forms of martial arts that he does have a black belt in, I also happen to have a black belt in, which was kind of dope. Like, it's a weird. I feel that's kind of cool to me that I'm like a form that I went through and spent years of my life actually doing and got a black belt in. Chuck Norris also has one in as well, which is pretty fucking cool. Like, I'm no Chuck Norris. I'm not saying that, obviously, but that's kind of cool. That I was like watching him fight a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of, oh yeah, I've done that before. Kind of see tidbits of it there when you start mixing martial arts. That's why it's called that. You kind of get that flow of like you can bring other styles in to kind of make your fight flow a little better. But yeah, that was just cool to me.
There were actually, and I'm not surprised to hear this from two tough guys like these two, there were no stunt doubles used for the final fight between Mcquade and Wilkes. Chuck Norris and David Carradine insisted to do the scenes themselves despite the protest of the producers, but director Steve Carver joined them and insisted. That's better that way, though.
Yeah, damn it. This is what we want. We want the two of them to throw hands, damn it.
Sometimes it's so blindly obvious that it's a stunt man that you kind of notice. Oh my God. I was watching. I giggled at this the other day. I was watching it. I was sitting in the living room. I was watching an episode of Chips. I was trying to kill some time, and it was one of the many car crash scenes where they have in every episode. And it's like I can see so the person's driving and they go like this, like all hell's gonna break loose, and then you see the car go over, and it's obviously some stunt guy in a helmet, and I'm like. I know that in the 70s you can get away with that. I was like, so I kind of giggle at it, but I'm like, yeah, you could have done a little more to maybe put a dummy in there and drag it with a cable like they do now. So at least you're seeing like the silhouette of a human-ish person. I'm like, come on. But no, I like the fact, I miss the days where guys did their own shit.
Yeah.
And women too. There are plenty of women out there that have done their own stunts as well.
Guys like Jackie Chan, man, he fucking did his stunts and shit. Like, God, he put himself in there.
And and say what you will about Tom Cruise. I mean, look, the guy fucking sells it.
Look,
the guy's holding on to the side of a fucking airplane as it's taking off. Give that guy his flowers. I mean, come on.
He does do his own shit. I'll give you that. That is impressive. It's amazing that they let you do that. I mean, just by any standards. I mean, I don't know what insurance costs and all this other crap that are like, yeah, sure, he's gonna hang off of a fucking plane. Why not? At this point, I think at this point, like you're gonna be like, yeah, sure, screw it. Yeah, let him do it. Roll. But it's amazing that he got to that point. I don't know.
That's all right. He's got the Lazarus pit that Scientology built, so he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, there it is. I was like, I know Atari had something to fucking do with that.
He's gonna be fine. I did actually read that he has to insure all of his own productions now. The stunt wise.
Well, it's not like he doesn't have money.
Yeah, it's not like he doesn't have the cash to do it. I mean, even some of the big actors might not want to put that kind of cake forward to insure their own movies, but But yeah, I mean, Jackie Chan had to, I think, you mentioned Jackie Chan. I think I read somewhere a long time ago he had to actually start his own insurance company.
I don't doubt that. I mean,
to insure his movies. And I was watching. What was I watching a while back? I was watching Who Am I think a while back because I have it on DVD. It's like the whole thing. I think it was Who Am I, where he's just like sliding down the side of a high rise. And I'm like, one false move, and we don't get any Rush Hour movies in 10 years. So
yeah,
but one stunt where he slides down like a thing, like a wire or some shit, and there's like lights that like hit him on the way down. Like, I'm like, dude, there's not only burns, there's glass and crap. You're just like ripping through your hands. I'm like, dude, God, suffer for the art. But we did Scarface once, right? And like fucking Pacino, like it's in the movie, but like it cuts obviously, like when he's doing the final fight and he's shooting the gun. And the gun got so fucking like white hot, he went over to grab it and he grabbed the barrel on accident and like burned the shit out of his hand. They had to like stop. Yeah, they had to stop for a while to let him recover. I'm like, yeah. That was an oopsie. I mean, what was he gonna do? He didn't know where it was. He's in the moment trying to not get himself killed. A coke-filled, rampage.
He didn't feel anything. He was so blown out on coke.
Oh yeah, I'll take your fucking bullets. Yeah.
Say hello to my little friend. But Jeremy, what could have been as good as this movie is? What could have been? Boy. Now the movies like this are usually in pre-production for quite some time. They're in the conceptual phase for a long time. This movie was probably no different. It was probably being conceived for about 5 years beforehand. According to the producers, had Bruce Lee been alive at the time, he would have been offered the part that eventually went to David Carradine. They originally when they started getting this movie together, Bruce Lee was still alive. They say had Lee taken the part, the producers would have billed this film as, quote, the rematch of the century.
Oh, God damn it. See what I mean? Man, we were this close. Oh, that would have been wild.
It's even more unfortunate when people die young.
Yeah, that hurts.
Bruce Lee was just becoming like Bruce Lee.
Dude,
and just think about it. The funny thing about Bruce Lee is he's only got like three really big projects to his name. He did Green Hornet on TV, and then he did
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon, Way of the Fist. I think he did one more. And I think Enter the Dragon was the one that they had just finished filming when he died, and it got released after he had passed away. And his entire legacy is built off like four things. Can you imagine if we'd have had a 25-year run of Bruce Lee? The kind of cinema that we could have had?
Yeah.
God, that's a big what if. That's a huge what if.
Well, and it sucks because even then, you get into Son of Brandon Lee. I'm like, God damn it, same thing. Can you imagine if even he would have gotten to fucking do his thing for a lot longer? It's fucking sad.
So it's a bummer. Bummer when talented people die young. Let's see. I don't know if we have a good panoramic shot of El Paso, but I don't know. I guess he's getting a good scope of El Paso in a panoramic shot of El Paso around the 11-minute 54-second mark. There is a small traffic accident as a blue car rear ends the back of a white truck. I did not know this.
Oh, no.
I'm going to have to go back and watch this scene later on, but it's always fun to catch real life happening in movies.
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
I wonder if somebody used this as like for their insurance. We're like, hey, seriously, I got rear-ended. They were filming a movie. It's all on camera.
I thought I looked up there and I saw Chuck Norris for a second.
I was just like, why is Chuck Norris scoping me out through the scope of a rifle? Because Chuck Norris.
Where's that damn? Yeah, no. If this is what you were looking at, you've already done fucked up.
Yeah. The rear ender, the fender bender is the least of your concerns.
Yeah, if you're on the business end of Chuck Norris's gun, his fist, whatever, it's already over, man. So,
I did miss some. Way of the Dragon, Game of Death, and Fist of Fury.
Fist of Fury. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Dragon's a good fucking movie.
I think didn't he have two movies come out after he died? I know one was Enter the Dragon. They were filming that right before he died. I think they got that one filmed. I think Fist of Fury, I think, might be or Game of Death. One of them was the one that I have to go look this up now. One of them was when he was in the process of filming. And
yeah.
When was that?
He was in the process of filming one of them when he died, and it took several years for them to get it together to where he could. Let's see. Oh wow, it's a whole separate thing. Maybe he was in more stuff than I thought. Okay. American movies. He was only in a few American movies before he died. He did do a bunch of movies in where was he at? China. Yeah. So
it's like China.
We had a bunch of stuff released posthumously. Wow. Enter the Dragon was released posthumously. It was released 6 days after he died. Green Hornet, a compilation of episodes from the TV series edited together and released as a feature film. Those were released 1 year after he died. I don't know if that's the same thing, but yeah, released after he died. The Fury of the Dragon, a compilation of episodes from the TV series, same thing. Game of Death, there are 2 versions of the film, each one with a different plot. The original from an incomplete 72 film and the 78 Bill doing a footage mashup. Lee was shown an incomplete original footage from 72 plus stock footage from Enter the Dragon and other films. The original was finally released as a short film in 2000.
Good Lord.
Circle of Iron. He was a co-writer. That came out in 78. Co-written by Bruce Lee, who was seeking to illustrate the differences between Eastern and Western philosophies. And then Game of Death 2. Unrelated to the first Game of Death, was marketed as a sequel in the U.S. Lee appears in stock footage from Enter the Dragon and other films. So they put a bunch of stuff together.
That's kind of cheating.
Yeah, that is a little cheating, but
a little bit.
Yeah. So he was in a lot more stuff. But yeah, it was definitely in China.
It's like that fucking movie,
Birdemic, where they like for a few seconds use like a fucking Tippi Hedren movie because of course she was in the Birds, and they're like, oh look, now we can credit her in the movie because she was in the movie. I'm like, no, she fucking wasn't. You were watching a movie of her in the movie. You can't say, hey, look, there she is. And people are like, oh look, build her in the movie. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Come on now. Do better, Birdemic.
Do better. Do better.
Hitchcock did so much better 60 years ago with no special effects. Good Lord. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. It was a long-running rumor that while filming their final fight, Chuck Norris and David Carradine broke out in a real fight. After Norris felt that Carradine was kicking him too hard, he warned him not to do it again. When he did it anyway, Norris struck him in return. Carradine later debunked the rumor in his autobiography, saying that he and Norris never touched each other during the filming of that scene. I might have, if I were him, I might have gone with Chuck Norris at the time and been like, hey, let's just play this up. It'll sound good for all of us. The fans will eat it up. We know the truth.
Just mystery and the legend of both of these guys. Yeah,
or sure. Better don't comment on it. When one of them gets asked about it, just be like, I want to talk about it. And just let the fans do their own. Let it kind of fester in our heads.
You guys already have enough aura around you. Like it'll work.
Let the fans build the legend for us. Let's see. However, this very next piece of trivia contradicts everything that Carradine just said, which I find very funny. In the final fight, David Carradine accidentally, not purposely, accidentally hit Chuck Norris in the ribs. Despite this pain, Chuck managed to pull off the highest reported filmed kick jumping from a crouching position.
Shit.
Because Chuck Norris.
Because he's Chuck Norris. Yeah, exactly. Damn.
Oh, I should have thought ahead to have you get a picture of his truck. I did not.
Yeah.
Because I put this piece of trivia in there as I thought it would satisfy Tex, because he loves his old pickup trucks. But the truck that J.J. Mcquade drives in this film is a 1983 Dodge Ram Charger. And while I am not a car person at all, I would roll around in what he's rolling in. That doesn't look very new though. That truck looks old.
It's probably seen some shit, yeah.
Because when you're it's like as soon as you see it in this movie, it looks like it's about 10 years old. It's got mud strewn across it from all over the place. That car has seen some things. It doesn't look like that truck has seen some things. It doesn't look like it's.
Although he had that like supercharger in it though.
Yeah.
Supercharger when he takes off.
We even got the Fast and the Furious kind of scene where it shows the supercharger spinning when he hits the button.
Oh yeah.
Years before Dominic Toretto did it in Fast and the Furious, we were getting with Chuck Norris.
Hell yeah.
You were so far behind. Let's see. How about this? One of the let me get a good picture of a Ranger here. Oh, hey, we haven't used this one just yet. I'm saving the money shot.
One of the truck. There you go.
Yeah, that's not bad. But let's see. one of the most popular movie-based drinking games is to take a drink each time one of the characters in this movie say the word Ranger.
Oh God, how many times they just address him as Ranger all the time? So I mean, oh Lord,
You would be dead of alcohol poisoning about 20 minutes into this movie.
Yeah, you would.
No way you'd last.
No.
Yeah, everybody calls him Ranger. He's a Ranger. The Rangers are heavily involved in this movie. God, you get hammered. I would drink an entire bottle of whatever. It's like
you wouldn't even be halfway through the movie.
If I was just drinking beer, I'd probably make it through. But man, if I was drinking hard liquor for that game, no way, not a chance in hell. Let's see. David Carradine in true form for I'll use this picture since I haven't used it yet. Let's see. It was written into actor David Carradine's contract that he could not be defeated in hand-to-hand combat. Hence why he was killed at the end by means of a grenade.
Yeah, technically you're not breaking the rules.
So The Rock is not the only one that has that clause. He's not the first one to have had that clause in his contract.
Yeah. Didn't say you couldn't be defeated, though.
Just the means of which.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this or not. I was watching this video the other day. I'm going to drip into Fortnite here for a minute. You know that The Rock is back in Fortnite right now? His character that was based on me. And there's this thing flying around because they've got this. I haven't paid much attention to it. I've played a couple of games in the last few weeks. But apparently it's like The Rock and his character against the Ice King. And supposedly everybody assumes that The Rock side is going to win whatever this contest is because it's in all of his contracts that he doesn't lose a fight. So most people chose to be on that character side or chose his faction because they already assumed that he was going to win because of that clause that he has in all of his contracts. Now, nobody has said for sure that that's the case. But, I mean, Rock's pretty uptight about it, making sure he wins fights, so...
I've heard nothing but like everyone's picking Ice King. I'm like, right, we're all picking Ice King there, right? Like we're all agreed, we're all picking Ice King. I'm like, yeah. Why the fuck? I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm like, that tells you like a lot of people. He's cooler. Sorry, The Rock. But I'm like, that tells you a lot of people remember that more than they remember his character. Because I'm like, I remember The Rock was in Fortnite once. I'm like, oh yeah, right. But the Ice King, do we remember that? Like a long time ago, that shit was really cool. I'm like, no pun intended. Like I have him and I have the Ice Queen. I'm like, that was a cool season. He's a cool character.
I actually picked the faction because I'm like, I already have the Ice King skin. I don't know. It's like, why? Maybe I get a skin that I don't already have.
One.
Yeah, no. I was like, no, I'm picking Ice King just because I'm like, nah, screw that.
That to me that just shows that like more of the OG people are like, you know, behind it, or it is just a big steamroll of like, yeah, we're all gonna pick this anyway. I'm like, probably
just to watch Fortnite kind of, you know, cheat at the game anyway, just to kind of call them out on it because like, yeah, basically no one picked The Rock, so we have to keep giving them more whatever the hell I don't even know what the season is. I'm like, I don't even want to play the actual games. I'll do the music stuff or something like that, and you'll still get XP. I'll blow right through the past. They messed up too by letting you pick and choose out of the past too. I'm like, cool, I can pick the 3 things I actually like and then just never play again. So you shot yourself in the foot once with that and then twice by making this whole divided pick a side thing. I'm like, you know damn well what people are going to do. And then you're clutching your pearl shocked that everyone went the way you didn't think. So
yeah, and then the V-Bucks nonsense, which is a whole other thing.
Oh my God, that's a whole other video. That shit is not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay. Yeah, you know, Call of Duty did the same thing. I've been saying it for a while now. Fortnite is slowly becoming Call of Duty.
They kind of became each other. I was like, why is Call of Duty, which is a little more like milsim serious shit? I'm like, why is Seth Rogen's goofy ass here? Now, to be fair, I love Jay and Silent Bob, but I'm like, but why are they in fucking Call of Duty? And then I'm like, yeah, and then vice versa. Like
marketing,
Fortnite become sure
collaborations. But you can't say if they dropped
somebody as Jay, sure.
Yeah, you can't say if they dropped a Jay and Silent Bob skin in Fortnite that me and you wouldn't be tripping over ourselves to run to our PlayStations to buy that shit.
Well, because you'd have to do the same thing. You got to give us Blunt Collaboration. I know.
It's just so weird. Give us a Chuck Norris skin. Damn it. Why don't we have that?
A Walker Texas Ranger. I'd buy that.
I would buy that.
I'd buy that.
I'd be down for that.
Now, and now I'll use this for the final piece of trivia. One of the best shots in this movie.
Yes.
God, that's cinematic gold. I mean, that's the shot that everybody wants in their movie. The hero against the sun, the silhouette of the hero,
yes.
On the mountaintop, the God shot, if you will. But this almost wasn't Chuck Norris. As I said, this movie was gestating for quite some time before it actually got made. This was actually originally written as a vehicle for Chris Christopherson to play the lead role, but it ended up going to Chuck Norris. Yeah. I don't know that would have been all that bad. Chris Christopherson's kind of a pimp.
Okay.
It would have been interesting. I've seen Chris Christopherson in a lot of movies. He's awful. He could have. It was interesting. Don't get me wrong. Glad we got Chuck Norris, but Christopherson, I don't think it would have been as much martial arts.
No, because that's kind of the point of having Chuck Norris and David Carradine. Yeah, it
would have been a lot of the old school, like late 70s, early 80s fighting where they take forever to throw a punch. They're like,
yeah, yeah. The wind up, like the double fisted William Shatner Star Trek crap.
Big theatrical wind of a punch like this. And you really lean back to get your ass behind it. That was exactly what
I'm like, if you actually fight, nobody actually fights like that. I'm like, that's the kind of thing that annoys me. I'm like, no one actually fights like that if you know what you're doing. Jesus.
Stuart McQuade's keeping it going. He said when Chuck Norris made fun of Jada Pinkett, Will Smith ended up slapping himself.
Yes.
They're never going to end. I mean, what's Chuck Norris' legacy going to be? Is it going to be the jokes or is it going to be all his great movies? I think it'll be both, and I'm okay with that.
I hope it's both.
I'll throw this in. It kind of makes me sad. There was this lady who was a substitute teacher often in our high school, and I shit you not, her name was Mrs. Norris, and she was always such a good sport about it. Every time, it was a joke. Every time you had her in class, you always had to open up by asking her, "Hey, how's Chuck doing?" And she was like, "He's doing great." Like every time she came into a classroom and if you had her, you had to ask her the question, and she was always cool about it. So that's just a weird tidbit memory I remember from high school. Yeah, she always thought that was funny as hell.
What a fantastic movie! What a fantastic career! I mean, let's opine for a minute about some of his other movies. What other Chuck Norris movie kind of stands out to you?
Excuse me, good lord. I think the one I suggested first, Delta Force, was the one I went to immediately.
What's not Behind Enemy Lines? God damn it, that's a different movie. See, it's all melding together.
Fuck, what's that one? He's a Vietnam vet. Or not vet, I think he was in the war, actually.
Missing in Action.
Missing in Action. Thank you. That was the other one that I was thinking about.
I was also trying to not be like, I'm a millennial, I'm going to talk about the Expendables, but
to be fair, come on. That is the amalgamation of yes, this is where this all ends up, is all of these guys that we've just been talking about. Arnie, Sly, fucking Chuck Norris. There's so many people in that movie,
all coming together to be this Avengers team of just badasses. So, I don't know. I guess we could get a big Charlie Day board and just throw a fucking dart. Be like, all right, that's the one we're doing. So, yeah, I think Delta Force and
the one I already fucking forgot again.
God damn, I'm not getting old already, am I?
Enjoy it while you got it.
I said what the two were. Damn it. That's where I was at with it.
God, I'm looking through his filmography and I'm like, dude, could you have made one bad movie at least? I mean, Eye for an Eye before this came out. We talked about that already. Silent Rage. I remember seeing that forever ago. The Missing in Action movies were my really introduction to Chuck Norris. That's when I found all his stuff. Jesus Christ, the Delta Force movies are great. As a kid, I was watching Sidekicks, which I watch now, and I'm like, yeah, this movie wasn't great, but it's it's got it's a little bit of early '90s cheese. Well, he wasn't taking himself so seriously. I love when actors don't take themselves seriously, they make fun of themselves a little bit. But obviously, the cameo in Dodgeball, that's
right.
One thumbs up is all it took to steal that movie.
Yeah, just that. Yeah, that.
And then the Expendables
Invasion
2,
USA.
Oh yeah, Expendables 2. He has that more than a cameo, but not quite a starring role. He kind of steals that last part of the movie as well.
I got bit by a snake after a couple of days of agonizing pain. The snake died. I'm like, God damn it!
You want to know something funny? We're not done getting his stuff. He's got a movie coming out, believe it or not, next year.
Oh wow!
It's called Zombie Plane. It is an Australian action comedy film directed by Lav Budnark and Michael Mears. So if you're still around, Lone Wolf Mcquade, Stuart Mcquade, you're gonna have to let us know if you know anything about this. Let's see. About a government organization's efforts to prevent a zombie outbreak using high-profile celebrities. It stars an ensemble cast that includes Vanilla Ice, Sophie Monk, and Chuck Norris in his final film role before him. As fictitious versions of themselves. A press release in the film stated that it quote, uses comedy, the zombie genre, and 90s nostalgia as a vehicle to comment on pop culture as much as it feeds it. The film is scheduled for theatrical release in 2027. I think we're going to have to review that. That sounds like all kinds of stupid fun.
See, when you talk about 90s, like, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing this little poster here of like, I'm like, yeah, well, of course, Vanilla Ice, and of course, Chuck Norris is dressed up as Walker. I'm like, yeah, I see it, and goddamn, this is like some Zombieland type shit that I need to see.
This looks funny as hell.
Oh goodness.
This is what I'm saying. It's like this is why movies like this can be fun, because like if you don't take it seriously, I'm like, no, people can have fun with it. You're not like critiquing it on like, yeah, does it make sense? Fuck no, who cares? It's zombies on a plane. We had a movie about snakes on a plane, and it was great.
Here's the plot. Undercover agent Vanilla Ice, who trained under Commander Chuck Norris, uses his skill set to dispatch a plane overrun with the undead before fighter jets can neutralize it to save humanity from a zombie outbreak. So it's obviously a spoof.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's got Ice-T.
Of course.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's see. God, there's actually.
I've said it. We're gonna start getting on the '90s nostalgia train here soon. Now that we've milked the '80s for all it's goddamn worth, I'm like, we're gonna start doing some '90s shit here. I'm telling you.
Bob Geldof is in it. Brian Austin Green is in it. So I mean, it's got some names. So I mean, it could be fun. Let me see what it's. Let's see.
It's probably going to. I mean, now the fact that Chuck Norris has passed away, it's like it's probably going to propel that movie at least a little bit, because it's like, oh hey, what was the last thing he did?
Oh wow, like, it's been done for a while. The film was presented at the American Film Market in November of 2023, as well as the Marché du Film section of the 2024 Cannes Film Festival.
Oh wow.
It's scheduled for release next year in 2027. Yeah. Well, sometimes some of these movies they get made and then they have trouble finding somebody to release them.
Yeah, you got to get somebody to put your shit out there. Yeah.
I mean, hell, what was that one Marvel thing that they had filmed for and they sat on a shelf for like 3 or 4 years? Oh, that Acme movie with John Cena that's coming out has been on the shelf for about 5 years now. They filmed that movie like 5 years ago, but. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It's called Zombie Plane, and it's supposed to be coming out. It doesn't have a specific date. As I said, it's scheduled for theatrical release sometime in 2027. So
yeah, that's all I saw was 27. So
whatever. And then of course, I didn't watch the newer Hawaii Five-0 show, but apparently he was in an episode of that as Sergeant Major Lee Phillips. He was in the Goldbergs as himself, which doesn't surprise me because that movie takes place in the 80s.
At this time, he's just kind of being himself at a certain point. Like,
I mean, what else do you do? It's like
you've done the work. So,
like I said, he's an experience in and of himself. So after a while, you just play yourself. Right. But yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just a matter of time before Tom Cruise starts playing Tom Cruise and shit. So as long as the Lazarus pit, whatever they have at the Scientology church, as long as it's still working, he'll be all right.
Anything in the blood of the innocent. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Stewart said he's never heard of it. He said he's gonna check it out once it's released. I'll watch it when it's released. Sounds kind of funny. Yeah, I'm not going to take it seriously. It'll be fun. He also says Missing in Action was good and Delta Force as well. There was a lot of really good movies made around Vietnam missing in action soldiers in the 80s. I mean, there was the Missing in Action ones were good. There was one called Uncommon Valor that I didn't get around to mention when we did the thing over on Werewolf Channel for fucking
Duval?
Jesus Christ, blank. No, not Duval. Jesus Christ. Well, the other really famous person that died Jesus Christ. Gene Hackman. Wow. So many dead people. I'm having trouble keeping them all straight. But yeah, Gene Hackman's in that movie. He's got a very young Patrick Swayze. He's got Randall Tex Cobb. You might remember him from a lot of stuff in the 80s, a former boxer turned actor. He's actually still alive. I just found out the other day. But Randall Tex Cobb, and he basically puts together a bunch of people who were kicked out of the army for some reason or another to go back into Vietnam to find his son, who has been missing in action from Vietnam for several years. Nice. But it's a really good movie. It's called Uncommon Valor. Back in the days when you could actually watch stuff for free on Hulu before it became a paid service. Hulu, for those of you who don't remember, going this far back, used to kind of be like,
I remember.
It had a couple movies that were free, and then you could pay to see a bunch of other stuff. It's kind of like Amazon that way, but I guess it's a better comparison. But yeah, they used to have that on there as one of the free movies on Hulu in the early days of Hulu, and I watched it a couple times. This is a really good war movie. But
it kind of reminds me of Rescue Dawn, which is a movie that I didn't know people knew about with Christian Bale. Where he's
good movie too. Good movie.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Vietnam War. His pilot's fucking shot down, and he's taken prisoner. Like Jesus, man, that's a crazy movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's. I think that wraps things up for this film. Jeremy, give me your final thoughts on the classic Lone Wolf Mcquade.
Like I said, we've said a few times, if you're looking for action, Western martial arts, explosions and guns and stuff, yeah, I mean, this is the movie for you. I mean, if you've seen one of these movies, you've seen them before, but if that's your vibe, you enjoy that kind of thing, like I said, you're not gonna be mad that you watched it. Just have fun, living in that time this magical time where if you shoot something once, it explodes entirely, because that's how it works in this weird alternate dimension. I think as of right now, and I think still it's free on Tubi. There's actually quite a few. I think some of the ones that we mentioned are also free on Tubi. So I mean, go back and watch some of these other movies with Chuck Norris in them. Maybe you might find one you've never heard of or haven't seen. Like I said, this guy's got quite a resume, so yeah, I mean, go give it a watch. Go get some other ones to watch. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I think Tubi's got 4 or 5 other Chuck Norris movies on there. I know one of the Missing in Action movies is on there, maybe 2. Breaker, one of his early movies is on there from the late 70s. That's on there, and there was another movie, I forget which one. See, there's a couple of Chuck Norris movies on there.
Force is too.
Delta Force. Okay, yeah, that might be the one I was thinking of. But
I think that was the one I started with.
Yeah, you can find this movie on Tubi. I think if you have YouTube Premium, I think it's available for free on YouTube Premium as well. Ooh. But I watched it on Tubi because I noticed it on there first, so that's where I watched. Yeah, it's the movie holds up. I mean, if you're a real fan of cinema, yeah, you can look at the tropes are outdated. I get it, but if you just want to watch a good movie that you can kind of get lost in really easily, watch this movie. It's fantastic. I think it's probably one of Chuck Norris's top 5 films. If I had to kind of make a top 5, I think this movie would probably be in there. There are some really good pieces of dialogue in here. The final fight scene between Norris and Carradine is great. It's different than what you find today. It's not nearly as drawn out, but this movie definitely does have the old feel of like one of the old spaghetti westerns from the 70s. This movie was obviously very heavily inspired by those kinds of films, the Sergio Leone stuff. And it's just a really fun movie to watch. It's, like I said, one of Chuck Norris's better films. You can't go wrong with this movie. Great good guy, great bad guy, great watch, and just watching it for no other reason to celebrate Chuck Norris's great career. Great life, great career. Don't read Variety's article because that article was fucking stupid. That article was getting smashed online. I don't know if you heard about that, Jeremy. Pretty funny.
I did not. Is this one of those things where it's like, hey, let's make fun of the crocodile hunter on the day of what would have been his birthday, and then PETA got their ass fucking destroyed?
No,
don't do that shit.
Some fucking 25-year-old asshole who they said write an article decided to write one that's what was the title of the article? Chuck Norris's career forever tainted by political activism or something like that.
Oh, shut the fuck
up. And the moment that thing hit online,
went right there.
got fucking destroyed. Tim Pool was talking about it on his podcast. He did like a whole video just smashing this guy. People have been pulling up the guy who wrote the article, pulling up his picture on Twitter. He looks like a fucking dickhead. He looks like some guy who puts pronouns on everything. It's like,
don't do that in this day and age, dude. They'll fucking find you.
He had everything but fucking purple hair. I mean, he just got fucking destroyed online. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't say anything because I was like, the internet's taking care of it for me. I'm let the internet do this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna feed the fucking. I'm not gonna feed the monster.
The internet took care of it for us. Let's just say that and shame.
Like we know it's in good hands. Like,
but I mean, it's a variety. What do you expect? I mean, come on, who cares?
Oh, where's that? Hold on, I gotta use that damn picture because I found it.
You gonna argue with a man that fucking looks like that?
yeah.
I'm like, I found the most badass Chuck Norris.
Yeah, tell this guy his career is going to suffer because he voted Republican. Tell that guy.
Right. I dare you. Go ahead, I'll wait.
I dare you. Tell that guy anything negative.
Oh, man.
Tell that guy anything negative, and you're going to be getting this view real quick. You ever been nose to barrel? That's what you're going to get, buddy. That's what you're going to get. But to hell with Variety and that ass hat that wrote that article. To hell with him.
You know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he didn't know what the hell's going on. But we're going to go ahead and wrap things up there. Thank you to my hetero life mate, Jeremy, for coming and hanging out. As always, not sure what we're going to be doing yet, but where are you going to be? Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Thursday, whenever we figure that out, because we don't procrastinate here, for sure. We're going to text each other like sometime tomorrow, like, hey, by the way, we should do this. I think, oh, hell, isn't next a week from now? Isn't that 93 Mario? So we're getting
Tuesday. So a week from today, we'll start getting into the Mario stuff in preparation for the arrival.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, so not totally sure what Thursday is going to be, but once that's passed, shit, I don't know if you're just going to hand me the keys again or hand me the player one controller, and I'll get into some Mario here for about a week and a half leading up to the movie, which I'm excited for. Oh my god, I'm excited for that. So that's what we're doing. I know what did I do? Oh, I beat Sir Whoop Ass. If everybody was that game I told you all about. It was fun. It was goofy. It didn't take itself seriously either, which is why it was so much fun. There's maybe a sequel. The way it was left, I mean, literally meta was left off for the bad guy. You defeat the dragon, and then the bad guy and his little henchmen are like, he's like, well, we can't leave the story like that. And then like his big island in the sky sprouts like fucking rocket wings, and he goes like, yeah, but I'm sure the developers will think of something. Takes off into space and says to be continued. I'm like, what the fuck? Whatever. It's my kind of humor, but yeah, go play that game. It's a couple hours of fun. I think I started playing Control again. It was a game that was kind of sitting in my back pocket for a while. I don't know how to describe it. Like eerie, almost analog horror kind of thing, psychological. I mean, she has like telekinetic powers. And I'll put it this way. You'll never look at a fucking refrigerator the same way ever again. There's some weird objects in this world that have other interdimensional properties. And you'll never know which one it is. So yeah, Control. It's a fun game. It's just kind of out there, and it's one of those ones that takes place in one building, and it's a wild ride. Give that one a go.
Yeah, as for me, you will find me back here on Thursday with whatever the hell movie we want to talk about. Maybe we'll just do a hangout. Fuck, I don't know. I'm actually surprised to think about it as you were talking about that you never did a playthrough of Iron Lung. If it only takes like an hour or so to go through that game, I'm surprised that you didn't just click go live and just go.
True. Actually, I think it is on PlayStation now. I think about it. I think I saw it the other day. It was on sale. It was only a couple bucks.
I know it's on. Well, I know it's on Steam. I saw it. They were advertising the shit out of it on Steam when the movie came out. But
yeah. I'm pretty. I can actually look right now. It's on my phone because I'm a nerd. Iron Lung is on sale for $5 whole right now. So on PlayStation. So yeah, I guess I could.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll be back here on Thursday reviewing something. We'll surprise you guys with it. Just want to remind you guys, go check out all the great creators in the comments and the description below. A lot of great movie guys in there, some great gamers in there too, even Casey. Go watch him as well. He needs the help. But yeah, we will see you guys as I go down and click the outro music. We will see you guys next time. Until then, my header life, Jeremy. Adios. Did you get the Clint Eastwood references that were in this movie too? That they said were accidental.
Right. The hospital was called Eastwood. I was like,
Eastwood Hospital. They're like, oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
At least there wasn't an Eastwood ravine and there was a DeLorean parked on the tracks.
Yes. And thank you, Stuart, for coming around, my brother. We appreciate you. But yeah, go watch Chuck Norris movies. All of them. All of them. Yeah. And obviously, if you have a movie suggestion, get to us in the comment section. Let us know what you guys want us to do. Catch you guys later.
There's some games.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.